Morning.
Um, you said for weeks about your belief, and I think we all got it and totally believed it. But it must make a difference when all that belief, all that work, all that effort results in getting a win, getting 3 points. It must make a difference around the camp.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you'd have come in previously on any Monday after we'd lost or drawn and we felt we maybe should have got more, I don't think you would have. Like certainly after Crewe and when we were really disappointed, even when it comes to Monday and we've analysed the game, I'd like to think that if you were just a neutral coming into the building, you wouldn't be able to tell if we'd won, lost or drew at the weekend. Because I think we've got to be both. We can't be driven by emotion like that. We've got to be driven by what we're trying to do. And I said to you all the way along, it's the process of analysing performance, planning for the next one, then performing, then repeating it again. But I think what this one does, winning, finally it relaxes everyone, I think, inside and outside. If people had any lasting fear or anxiety, hopefully it gets rid of that and strips that a little bit, and the guys can and build on that now because they deserved it. I said on Saturday, I've been really proud of the way they've approached things. We are miles better than we were last season. I'm completely convinced of that, and we have to justify what we are doing all the time. It's football, that's life. When we believe so much in it, the culture we have here and the players, that's why I said, we knew it was coming at some point. The performances showed that, and then on Saturday we showed both sides of our game and the fact that how hard they had to work defensively just to make sure that we limited another team to very little in terms of efforts on goal. So yeah, really pleased, and hopefully it relaxes people a little bit, but not too much because we've got another massive game tomorrow night, and this fixture, this schedule now for the next 3 weeks, it's intense, it's really hectic, and we're going to really have to manage people and manage the squad well to make sure we get the best out of everyone, and get results.
I guess that's what it's all about, isn't it? When you have a schedule that's this hectic, that it's not necessarily about training. It's about managing. It's about rest as well as the training.
Yeah, I think it's about squad management. It's about making sure we get enough work in to be able to perform, but it's also making sure the guys are mentally and physically rested and ready to go again in the next game. And being honest, we're going to need everyone. I said that to the guys, and that'll probably show in the next however many games, because it's going to be a grueling schedule for sure, and we've got a lot of players that are playing catch up still or not quite fully fit yet, and players who are coming back from injury. So we are going to have to manage them players and monitor them, and make sure that, as I said, we go into every game with people that are ready to physically perform to their best. But what we have got is a really honest group. So if we ask any of them at any point how they're feeling, if they feel ready, if they don't, they'll be honest with me, which is great. And they know that the person who's ready to come in is more than ready to perform at the same level. And as I said to you, we haven't got a huge squad, but we've got real depth in it, and we've got real competition, and that breeds, for me, it's great. I think that breeds real desire to play well and real desire to stay in the team, and that's what you need.
The way that the league has shaped up this season so far, I know that in many interviews you said, I don't look at the league, not interested, totally understand that. But do you look at the way other teams are shaping up, not necessarily where your position is and what you're doing, but how the league's shaping up? Is it doing it as you expected this season?
I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, because of what's gone on over the last 6-7 months. You just didn't know what to expect, and I still really believe it's such early days that it's not going to look anything like it is now. I think if you probably look at the top few, Sunderland, Hull, Ipswich, teams like that, it's probably people expect them to be there or thereabouts because of the size of their squad and the finances available, etc., and where they've come from and what they're building off. But other than that, I think it's pretty open. I think it's pretty hard to predict game to game, and I think that's going to be the case for another 5 to 10 games at least. I think then probably Christmas time it will really start to take shape, and you'll start seeing where teams will be fighting for and looking for, and hopefully by that point we put ourselves in a much different position than we're in now. And I'm sure that'll be the same for the team we're playing against tomorrow. I don't see them finishing anywhere near where they are at the moment, because of the way they play, the style of play they've got, the manager they've got, the experience they have with him and the squad. So that's why I say, at the minute it's really difficult to read anything into the league and the positions, and we just need to make sure we focus on what we're doing, not the league. not what other teams are doing. As I said, always be aware of the threat they possess when we play against them and respect what they have. But need to make sure that we focus on what we're doing and keep improving that.
Yeah, you stole my thunder a little bit because I don't think anyone expected Oxford to be where they are after some of the seasons they've had of late. Taking away from that, just finally from me, I think we've noticed throughout every division there's been, I'm not going to say freak results, but there's been some really results you've just gone, and it seems to be since obviously football has changed. Can you put your finger on why that might have changed things in not just the Premier League all the way down to League Two? There's been some really interesting and strange results. Is that the fan factor? Is it the fact that there are no fans in the ground, or is it something else?
Well, I think we've played a couple of clubs recently, both whose managers have said that having no fans in has helped some of their players deal with the expectation and in terms of performance, they feel less pressure. Some managers spoke about it's not helping them; it's actually working against them. And I think it's just a number of things. I think if you look at Oxford tomorrow, and they came back for the playoffs, they had to get ready for that in a really short period of time. They then didn't have very long to recover and rest before this season started. Then you have to deal with the disappointment of losing the playoff final, which takes most teams a long time to get over. And then you obviously got new signings and people leaving, etc. So there's been so much that's gone on. Adding to that the salary cap for our league and the one below, and you have to deal with that again. And been so much that's gone on. It's been so different week to week, day to day, and also with the mental struggle with outside of football for players, with their families, for managers, for staff, of dealing with lockdown, of dealing with their kids out of school, with dealing with so many issues, people around them who are ill, their family, etc. It's been so tough for so many, and that's why I think so early on you're seeing a league that's wide open, results, as you said, that surprise people, teams in positions that they won't be in come the end of the season. And it takes everyone a different amount of time to adapt, to adjust. It takes individuals, clubs, whatever, and everyone is adapting and everyone is adjusting to the new normal for football, if you like, and also in terms of what they're having to deal with now financially and what changes the landscape day to day in terms of that as well. We keep hearing about possibly getting bailed out financially a little bit by whoever it's going to be, the Premier League, the government. That's not come to the fore yet either, so you're still trying to adapt to that and adjust, and I think we're just all trying to get through as best as we possibly can, and that's why I said all the time we just focus on us and what we have available now and what we can do to improve us, and I'm sure every other club's doing the same, and as I said, it will the league will look very, very different from what it is now come the end of the season.
Thanks, Ross. Appreciate it.
No probs.
I think Oxford was your first league win, wasn't it? When you took over as manager, what are your memories of that game looking back, and how important was it?
Yeah, it was.
Pick up that first win.
It was a really. I think they came to us 16 unbeaten or something on the back of a great run. I don't think anyone fancied us. We knew we were building something that was slowly sort of clicking into gear, if you like. So I don't think anyone expected it. It was a turbulent time for me. My wife was in hospital the day before, and I came late on, and so it was real relief at the end of the final whistle, and real pride in the boys and the way they played. And I think we put in a fantastic performance, really tremendous performance that day in terms of defensively and going forward, limited them to very little. And it was a really good game of football. I'm expecting the same tomorrow. I think they play a really good style of football under a manager who's done it for a long time, knows what he wants. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game, no doubt, and it's going to be a tough one, and complete different circumstances to how it was last year. And two teams that are they're getting better. They're not far away in terms of what we've been speaking about. They're not far away from a result. You can see that's coming for them, and we need to make sure it's not against us, and we need to make sure we build on our result of the weekend.
I was going to say, how important is momentum at the moment as well? Not just necessarily wins, but just constantly picking up points at this stage.
Yeah, I think we need to make sure that we build off that now. I don't think, as I said there, it hopefully relaxes a few people in terms of that first one just out of the way. But don't want to be too relaxed. There's something on every game, and the games are coming thick and fast. And we need to make sure we're relentless in our approach to improvement and making sure we improve on what we're doing. And that has to be the case. So it's not a case of coming in today saying, brilliant lads, let's try and go and win a game again tomorrow. We analyse the game every Monday or whenever it is, Wednesday after a Tuesday, and they say exactly the same way, win, lose or draw. take what the real positives from it, and there were lots on Saturday, as there have been in recent weeks, and make sure there's bits that we can really improve on as well that will help us moving forward, and there's also loads of them. So I love that. I love the fact we can do that every single game, regardless of result, and I love the fact the guys take on the information every single week and make sure the bits that we really focus on, they produce and improve on. And if we keep doing that, you're right, we'll have momentum. Performances have been good. They've maintained that, apart from one we spoke about. So the rest now is down to us and making sure we get points on the board, and there's plenty to play for. And we've had a really tough fixture schedule to start the season with. If you look at all the teams we played, they're pretty much all there or thereabouts at the minute, and I'm sure most of them will end up staying that way. But yeah, we just got to focus on us and make sure we build on Saturday now.
It seems like you've got a fairly quiet treatment room as well for once.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have, having so many available to choose from. I think we are going to have to manage, as I said to Luke a bit earlier, we are going to have to manage the squad. There's no doubt about it. I think it's really difficult for the players to go Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday for the next 3 weeks. That's going to be really tough. And that's why we brought in so much quality, and that's why we tried to bring in 2 for every position that really can compete with each other, and have got real trust in any one of the players that comes in, real belief in them individually and as part of the group. They've earned that trust, and now we will show that, I'm sure, in by the way the teams are selected over the next few weeks. I'd love just to be able to, if we get in if we win and we win again and again, you'd be able to play the same 11. But with a condensed season, with that many games coming up, I think it'd be really difficult for the same team to play the next 5 or 6 games together. So and if we end up doing that, you then risk losing people after that. We might get lucky and get them through the first 3 or 4 games, but then you're putting people at risk. So brilliant sports science department here, medical department, and we're a lot of communication about how to make sure we have the best, make the best use of the squad over the next period, and it's up to the players to make sure they are ready to play and justify the trust that we have in every single one of them.